to talk about self-forgiveness. I've made a commitment to do self-forgiveness for my relationship to my thoughts and my relationship to my imaginations, which creates a point of control within myself. In other words, when I have a thought or when I start imagining things within my mind, there is this point when I realize that when I allow myself to participate with the thought, or in or with the thought, or when I allow myself to participate in or with the imagination from the perspective of perpetuating a particular thought or imagination without actually stopping my participation, then that is when I create a relationship to that thought or that memory. And so within that relationship comes experiences, which experiences are the collection of emotions and feelings. And that is when it is a point of too lateness, when I submit myself to a particular thought or to a particular imagination without stopping my participation with and in and as the thought or the imagination. Last night, December the 10th, 2013, there was a point when I did not push through. I allowed myself to go into points of impatience. So it is that word impatience, that I became subjugated to, or in other words, allow the point of impatience to control me through the emotions that I experience within that patience. And so I realized that self-forgiveness has to be done in a quantum moment. And so today, this morning rather, I had a dream about the point of self-forgiveness. And I realized that the point of self-forgiveness, when I'm doing self-forgiveness, it is a point where I have to do self-forgiveness as myself, basically. I have to align myself to that, within that position of authority or that position of stability, rather. I cannot allow myself to do self-forgiveness from a point of reaction, because if I do self-forgiveness from a point of reaction, then it is who I am as reaction that is doing the self-forgiveness. And the question is, if I allow myself to do self-forgiveness as reaction, that means that I accept and allow myself to be defined by reaction. And so if I allow myself to be defined by reaction, then, that's really a point of self-sabotage. It is a point of self-diminishment. It is a point of self-limitation, I know that I can be more, quote unquote, not more from the perspective of within a point of superiority, but more within a perspective of potential. And so I realized that I can be more from that perspective within a point of stability rather than participating in reaction. allowing myself to be defined by reaction. Because I realize that when I do not do self-forgiveness, that every moment that I react within myself and not take self-responsibility for that reaction through self-forgiveness, I become that reaction, such as the point of impatience. And then the more that I, within my life, participate in the point of impatience and not to take self-responsibility for impatience, then, I allow myself to be subjugated or enslaved by the impatience point, where I begin to form a personality based on impatience and time, and stuff like that, and so I see how I allow myself on December 10th, 2013, to be subjugated by the point of impatience. And so within that point of impatience, I begin to blame others within my world and reality for believing that they are creating this point of impatience within myself, when in fact it is me, myself, that is generating this impatience within myself, because I was already it. I was already that point of impatience within myself. So I just want to do a quick self-forgiveness here for the point of impatience, to take self-responsibility for it and not allow myself to constantly and continuously participate in the point of impatience. Because what does self-forgiveness do? It is a point of declaring to oneself that this is what I have accepted and allowed myself to exist as, and I'm going to release this relationship from myself, this experience from myself, because what is an energy is an accumulation of certain emotions and feelings about a particular environment, and then that environment is thus blamed, is judged. And so I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to fear, fear being who I am, or who I could be if I do not participate in the point of impatience. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to use impatience to justify me not taking self-responsibility to release the point of impatience from myself. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed impatience to control me, to direct me, to have authority over me. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to use impatience as a protection and defense mechanism to protect me from not changing, to protect and defend me from not even want to look more deeply into investigating why I accept and allow myself to be subjugated by impatience. I forgive myself that I've allowed myself to, within this, create points of excuses and make those excuses logical, where I abuse words within logic and use logic as a form of justification. And so I commit myself to stop existing within a point of impatience, investigate who I am, when and as I see myself participating in the point of impatience, I stop. I do self-forgiveness in that moment, and I allow myself to change my posture. Instead of doing self-forgiveness from a point of reaction, I stop, I correct my posture, I stabilize myself within that posture, straighten up my posture from where within that I support my body to be aligned properly, and then I breathe. In breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I commit myself to, within that, say, I am here. and make sure that I am here. And then within that point of here-ness, I do self-forgiveness as patience, as equal in one to the environment. Because what I mean by equal in one to the environment is that I mean that I am the direct principle of the environment. You know, I know who I am within that moment and what I am doing within that moment, basically. And so I commit myself to be equal in one to the environment through taking directive principle within and as the environment, through correcting my posture, through breathing and making sure that I am here as breath, as self-direction, as patience, which is being equal in one to what is here within and as the environment, instead of creating an experience through the environment in separation.